Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Whatever, Whenever, the show where we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want. I am Robin.
I'm the Mentok, the prophet, YouTube savior, but I'm just the whenever right now.
And I'm the Whatever. And I think we got a little bit of a controversial episode in the works today.
Yeah, so before we get to that, I know that in some podcasts we'll cover like what happened at like Summer Games Fest and things like that. There's a bunch of new games that were elaborated on and talked about, and I think Microsoft Bethesda had a whole, as of this podcast, they had a whole show a couple days ago. I think a couple big things to take out of that, just so we just start off with this topic. Persona is finally coming to PC. Well, 3 and 5, technically, because those aren't on there. P3 Portable, more specifically, which...
Why wasn't it FES?
I need a... Yeah, that's what I said. I said that to somebody on like a Discord. I'm like, I am a little disappointed it's the portable version. They're like, but female MC. And I'm like, I get that. But like, I would love that merged with FES. And then released that way. And for those who don't know, like P3 had a PlayStation 2 version, and then P3 Portable was made for the PlayStation Portable. So some things had to be cut. Everything was all menus in the portable version. You couldn't walk around. You couldn't explore the town. But they added a female protagonist as well, so you can choose a male or a female. So each version has its pros and cons, and is just kind of like, I think P3 just needs a definitive edition. I know it's going to be some work on Atlas's part. I'm not saying it needs a remake. A remake would be great. But just like definitive edition. Just put all the content in there, even though people hate the answer, which is like the epilogue of Persona 3.
God, the answer so much.
Yeah, I tried to give it a chance, and I was a huge Persona fan when it came out. I was extremely excited. But the point is, like, I think we need a definitive version of that game, and the one we're getting for PC is not it. But I'm glad that it's finally on there, because modders, you can do your thing now, and give us an even more definitive edition. We already had Golden on Steam, and then now people get to play Persona 5 Royal on PC, or Royal, I should say. I always call it Royal. That's gonna be a good experience as well. So anyone who has not played P5, you should play both that and Royal, and you're in for a treat there.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the only other thing was Starfield, which people are like ranking on now.
I'm kind of meh on it.
Yeah. I mean, I figure like people are comparing it to No Man's Sky, and I think it's just going to be like those features with some Skyrim attached to it.
No Man's Skyrim.
No Man's Skyrim. Oh my god. Are people calling that? Are they calling it that yet?
No. I hope I've coined that term. I hope I'm on a Know Your Meme page in the future.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we all strive for at the end of the day. So yeah, I just wanted to get those out the way, acknowledge those. We can talk about more of those in depth in another podcast if we find any of those to be interesting.
Yeah. But yesterday wasn't just Summer Games Fest. It was also the Mother Direct, which is like this kind of like fan thing that the Mother community does, where they show off like fan games, fan projects, and just indie games that are inspired by the Earthbound series, Mother series in general.
So it's much like Sonic Amateur Game Expo.
Yeah, kind of like that. And yesterday they showed off this Earthbound inspired game called Lifelike, and the game looks pretty good from like what I've seen. It's an indie game and it looks pretty cool, but when they were promoting it with their trailer, they showed a bunch of YouTube comments they got on one of their previous trailers, and one of those comments was someone saying, this is like Yick if it was good, which that kind of rubbed me and a bunch of other people the wrong way.
And of course, I think Yick is... I feel like Yick is like the and I'm not saying this about the quality, but like it's the game of the decade that people like to rank on. I'd put it up there with like, you know, Sonic 06 as far as like how people rank on it. Even though, you know, the quality is totally different. I'm not comparing the two of those.
But yeah, no, it's like, I mean, it's just like tired at this point. Like, okay, well, before I get into all that, I want to acknowledge that like, the reason why this bothers me isn't just that it's Y2K Yik. Like, if it was any other like indie game, this would bother me as well.
Right.
Because what they're doing by doing this is they're effectively promoting their game by saying, hey, look, our game is better than this game. Even if that's not what they intended to do, that's what they're doing.
Right.
They're instead of showing the merits of their thing, they're going, look, this other thing bad.
And on top of that, what that does is, even if someone didn't know what that was, they have it in their heads now that thing is a bad thing, and it's not good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, this is an agreed upon fact. So, go ahead.
Yeah, and thankfully, after being called out a few times over the course of the day, they did ultimately take that trailer down off Twitter, and the mother direct guys are gonna cut out that clip of that comment in the trailer from their thing. At least that's what I've heard. And they did publicly apologize to At Studios, and At Studios responded by saying that they forgave them and stuff. But I guess I can really put into words just by reading off what I replied to something that they said. Like, let me find it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, here it is. So someone quote tweeted them saying, "What's the point of this? Just comes off as mean spirited." And it's the part in the trailer where someone says, "Whoa, it's like if Yik was actually good." And they responded with, "It was a comment that I felt would work as a memorable quote review of the game to feature considering the meme status of Yik, though I understand it landed harshly after feedback." I responded to them, and this got like not like a whole lot of traction, but more traction than I thought it did, or thought it would get. And it was 2 tweets. I said, "I genuinely don't understand why devs like you think, oh, Yik, that meme game, that's funny. I'll put this review mocking the funny meme game in my trailer. If I were you, I wouldn't think, haha, funny bad meme game. I'd think, hey, that's not cool. Does this guy realize just how much harassment these guys have gotten and are still getting over blatant slander? It comes off as you guys not caring about the situation aside from, haha, look, our game is better, you guys. I will not support your game." And that sums up pretty much my whole thoughts on that situation perfectly, I think.
And go ahead. No, I was gonna say I honestly, in hindsight, it does look like a bad move, and it isn't a good look. And I'm glad that they removed it and owned up to it. I think that's all you can do when you mess up and things like that. And I think that they weren't truly trying to harm anyone based on what I'm seeing here, and you know how they apologize and stuff. It's just people don't put a lot of thought into certain things, and you see edgy comments. Like, I think a very similar one is that they showcased that I'm seeing here. Only hot people play this game.
Yeah, like that's another thing. I get the vibe that they just weren't thinking.
Yeah.
When they did that, or like they were thinking, but they weren't really thinking about it. You know.
Right.
So I don't think they're bad people. I just wanna say, like, when I said that I will not support your game thing, I said that because I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact they've owned up to it and apologized, you know, maybe I will actually check out their game to support them for owning up to their mistake, you know? And like I'm not gonna encourage everyone here to be like, oh, fuck these guys, don't support them, you know. No, because I'm pretty sure Andrew and Brian wouldn't like me doing that either.
So,
you know.
I agree with that, and I'm playing devil's advocate in saying that before, but I think this is gonna come full circle for a whole podcast today, because I don't think people realize how influential certain things can be when you go out there and you're just very excessive in the things that you say. For example, if I tweeted right now, for lack of a better example, I don't think Y2K is a good game. Haven't played it yet, by the way. That's not my actual opinion. Waiting for their updates, which look great so far. But let's say that I tweeted that. Like, I don't think Y2K is a good game. Honestly, yeah, maybe some people will take offense to that, or they would be upset. But they would probably ask why or whatever. But then there's this new mentality. I guess it's not new, because it's been around like this on the internet for a while, but people want to be edgy with how they approach things, and it's popular to be outraged about certain things that you see, right? Oh, this game is gonna be fucking ass, bro, or this game is so freaking trash. I would never play this, even if my mother's life was on the line. I wouldn't beat this game. People will say things like that, and they get so much traction, whether it's the outrage of people reading that type of stuff, and then there'll be YouTube videos with the same title just to get people to click. And if people are kind of neutral on the topic, or they've never heard of the game before, or they're never into those things, they're going to absorb those opinions, whether they notice it or not. Which is why I think, for what you mentioned, Robin, even if it's a half-ass joke, as I said before, somebody who's never played Y2K are just going to be like, ha ha ha, these guys are right. And they're so edgy and funny. And it hurts developers like them, indie developers like them, that put forth a risk in creating these games. And that I absolutely agree with you there.
Yeah, and the worst part about that is that there's been instances where okay, so you know how Toby Fox made a game for Y2K, or not a game, a song called Into the Mind.
Was this later on?
No. This was when the game first launched. He made the song Into the Mind for Y2K.
Interesting. I didn't know this.
Yeah. That song is essentially a sample of two other songs that Andrew had already made, 68 Battle and the Essentia Mind theme, right? Or the Essentia's theme. Well, because people didn't like the game, they just automatically assumed that because this is bad and Andrew Allenson is the devil and he killed my dog and all that stuff,
right.
Which none of that's true. That instead of it being Toby Fox took those two songs and remixed them, it was Andrew Allenson ripped off that song, and now he's had to consistently prove to people that no, he didn't just rip off Toby's work. I don't think a lot of people realize that them just saying the shit has affected his personal life in a lot of ways,
Right.
And it all of this stuff of people saying that Andrew Allenson made Alex a self-insert or whatever, which isn't true, and all that other dumb stuff. It's yeah, that stuff angers me, but I've learned to just live with it. That thing where it's they're not giving the man the credit and just accusing him of being a plagiarist with no fucking evidence, it genuinely makes me mad. It I see red when I see someone say that unironically, and it greatly upsets me.
And there was a lot of YouTube videos about that when Y2K released. It's
yeah,
I recall that time.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't like to put people on blast, but I will this time, because it's just a shining example of someone who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. There's this guy called Rabid Luigi on YouTube, and he was so misinformed on the topic that he was saying all of the stuff that people were saying about Andrew, but he kept saying Brian, Andrew's brother, and the other guy who helped make the game. He kept saying Brian Allenson throughout the video because he was that misinformed. He legitimately didn't know what he was talking about to that level.
Right.
And it baffles me that not only is that video still up on his channel and people still watch it, but that, like, I could be wrong. I don't think he ever apologized or, like, said anything about that, and it honestly frustrates me and it upsets me to a great degree. You know? And I know this is kind of off topic from, like, everything else that we've done, but, like, it's kind of just, you know, just the constant ragging on the game, like, upsets me, and I'm glad that Lifelike owned up to, like, their mistake here, and I'm glad they did. Their official apology is response to the Mother Direct. I added a comment making a joke at the expense of Yik in my trailer. It wasn't appropriate of me to use that. At Studios, I'm sorry, and at responded with, thank you, we accept your apology, with this joke edit someone made of Alex doing prayer hands.
Okay, so that's the only thing I saw because you responded to that tweet.
Yeah, responded to that one. But also, I think I just want to cap all of this off with echoing the sentiment that At said before, like, the apology came out, which is innovate in games, not in cruelty. There is no need to put down another person's creation in order to build yours up. There is plenty of attention to go around.
And I agree with that. Well said.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's move on from this.
All right, so because I'm about to bring out my guns now because it's very similar to what we're talking about, right? So everyone knows that I have a Sonic channel, right? I'm not a blind fanboy. Okay, I'm really not, because I will say that, you know, I haven't been very impressed with Sonic games over the last, like, since maybe generations. I would say Lost World looks like a pretty decent game overall. Like, I've played it, but that's one of the few ones not to interest me. And I noticed, you know, Sonic Team was doing a lot of cool things in there, like this parkour system and all this other stuff. So I am not into blind fanboyism, and I think that every game, especially AAA ones, deserve to be critiqued, and feedback is very important. So that's my disclaimer before we get into this. So last week, IGN apparently has a exclusive deal with Sega, which is meant to showcase Sonic Frontiers, which is going to be the brand new Sonic game coming around the corner this holiday. So there's no exact date on that yet. They always release Sonic games in November, which, you know, I'll put my personal opinion aside for a second. We'll talk about the game in a minute. But IGN basically put out Sega put out a 30-second trailer teasing that IGN was going to show some gameplay. So everyone saw this 30-second thing, and I remember Sonic Twitter immediately, oh my god, this looks so beautiful, this looks amazing, yada yada yada. 30 seconds, right? Then they're like leaving comments on the Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube channel. Oh, can't wait to see more. This looks so gorgeous. This looks amazing. I'm super excited. These are all verified SonicTubers, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody in the SonicTuber community. I haven't personally engaged with anybody. I'm not calling out anybody in particular, and I'm not going to call out anybody's personality. But I honestly cannot take this part of it seriously. So when IGN released a 7-minute walkthrough, clearly this guy was just kind of exploring the area. And when I saw it, I'm like, okay, is that it? I need to see, like, something official. Like, I need purpose. Like, why is Sonic doing these things and stuff before I can make a decision on how I feel about the game and the objectives of the game and what Sonic Team's trying to do by building this game. But overall, we see a large, vast, open zone, as they're calling it, world with grassland. There's this beautiful piano music playing in the background that people thought was gorgeous. Now it sounds too boring. The world looks too empty. It looks like there's nothing to do. Why are there rails in the sky? Yada, yada, yada. And I'm not saying all of these are not valid critiques. But the first people to jump on this is Sonic YouTube and Sonic Twitter. And these are the people who dictate the opinions of others before this even has time to breathe. So as of today, for Summer Game Fest, a lot of outlets have managed to get their hands on the game. And I would say it's about 70-30 positive negative. So 70% of these guys are like, this is actually a great direction for Sonic. I really love what they did. And having it in my hands, there's a lot of things I can't say because of NDA, but the footage doesn't do it justice. Like, you really have to check this out. I cannot wait to see what they do moving forward with this formula. So that's like what a lot of outlets are saying. Others are saying it's a little bit slippery. There's still some work to be done, etc. But after that 7-minute IGN trailer, Sonic community lost their collective minds because everybody rushed to their camera to make a video and get something out as soon as possible. I am also a Sonic YouTuber. I could have done that, but I didn't because for these reasons. I feel like there's no possible way for me to look at that 7 minutes and have a valid opinion on that. Because if they're just showing off expiration, and I think my biggest opinion on it is that Sega did horribly with the marketing. I think that more transparency, maybe a 30-minute walkthrough with IGN after releasing an official trailer would have been the best route, especially for Sonic, who's been scrutinized for how many years. But all that aside, you just see like Sonic running around, and the person playing it, I heard it wasn't IGN that was playing it, but it's like somebody at Sega, and I could tell what they were trying to do, but there was no voiceover. So like they're just trying to move Sonic around, trying to show parts of the island. They're trying to climb this tower, show what's on the tower, things like that, and people did not like it. And I don't think that's how the game was meant to be played, to be honest, and that's kind of why it looked the way that it did, because as of today, there's a lot of new gameplay coming out that people are actually saying looks great. And I saw some of it. It does look great, and especially in 1080p, 60 frames per second, it looks amazing. But once those 7 minutes dropped, Sonic YouTube got to work and just destroyed the entire reputation of the game, where it got to people like Moist Critical and Mudahar and all those mainstream guys who have 3 million subs. And now, people who are not part of the Sonic community, because there's a lot of people, a lot of gamers who are like, man, I haven't played Sonic in years, but this looks pretty good. This formula is something that would bring me back into Sonic or whatever. People were saying that. But then these people came out with their opinions. Oh my god, these animations. Ha ha ha. Look at this. Look at this 2-second frame of Sonic not going the right way. Things like that. Like, everything was being put out. And again, I'm not above criticism. I think that things deserve to be criticized, but it's how you say it. Because you can easily send feedback to Sega. They were releasing surveys. You can reach out to the Sonic PR team. You can, assemble a list of pros and cons and kind of deliver that as a community to, and whether, Sega wants to approve of that is another thing. It's up to them at the end of the day. But everybody's like, yo, this is fucking trash. This is that and this is that. And there are people who actually liked what they saw. And a lot of people were being put down because they liked what they saw. They're like, how can you say that about this game? This is going to be the worst. It's going to be Sonic 06 all over again. And it's invalidating those people's opinions. I saw a lot more of that than vice versa, where people are like, you guys are overreacting and yada, yada, yada. I saw people getting their opinions washed away for having any positive thoughts about Sonic Frontiers. And the people spearheading this was Sonic YouTube, right? And it's like, bro, are you guys actually fans? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, you're running to YouTube to get the views, and, like, imagine you're the first person to put Sonic Frontiers looks like garbage. That's your YouTube title, and you're the first person out there to put that up. I guarantee your views are going to come with that, because it comes with controversy, right? So, are these people actually fans where you can get so bent out of shape and kind of spearhead this, and you have, gamers who just go straight to the comments section to absorb all of these opinions and then spit them back out. Within 2 hours, Robin, everybody was saying the same thing. If you have the same exact talking points, something is off. That's all I'm saying. It's not valid criticism. You're receiving that from other people.
Yeah, and it's, again, goes back to, ironically enough, like Yick, or even like other games like Balan Wonderland and like you know, like, I don't know, some like NES games like Friday the 13th and stuff like that. It's like, have you played these? Do you know what you're talking about, or are you just repeating what a guy on YouTube said?
Right. And vote with
You
your
know?
money, right? Like, honestly,
Yeah.
in my opinion, based on the reviews, I don't think Balan Wonderworld it's probably not a good game. But I can't say that for sure because I haven't played it. Could it be something that I enjoy? Probably. You know,
Yeah, I don't know, like,
but I vote with my wallet. Like, if it doesn't interest me enough for me not to buy it, I have zero opinion on something that I didn't buy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's this weird. I have like this. I've had this idea, but it's like, I think that like YouTube has like dramatically changed the way that people like think about things, like especially for the younger generation, because like before, like back in the days when it was all like forums and stuff, people would just express their opinions and they'd get into flame wars over it.
Yeah.
But
But it would kind of be contained to that though.
it would kind of be, it would be like contained to that, and maybe even you could change someone's mind if you were lucky. But these days it's oh, this thing is popular, I don't know what to think of it, I'm going to go see what my favorite YouTuber thinks and then copy their opinion of it.
Right. And just because their video is 5 hours doesn't mean that it's right, by the way.
Yeah, like, by the way, just because it doesn't matter how long someone's video is, like, you can make, like, a good criticism of something and have it be, like, 10 minutes or something, or even less, you know? Just because a video is, like, an hour long, or, like, 2 or 3 or 5, doesn't mean shit. It could literally just be 10 hours of them nitpicking every little thing and being nonsensical. Right. You know? Right. Like, it frustrates me when people like are obviously like saying things that they don't understand, and they're just repeating that back to me, because like, and it frustrates me because I used to be like that too.
Right.
You know, until like I learned, or I kind of like broke out of that habit. But it's like, you don't actually believe what you're saying. You're just saying this because like that's what you think you're supposed to believe, because some famous niche internet micro celebrity told you that that's what they believe.
And you know? I'll get back to Sonic Frontiers in a second, but like, this whole thing reminds me of what people say about Andrew Garfield's portrayal of Spider-Man. I don't know who fucking started this, but every time anybody talks about Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, he was a great Spider-Man, but an awful Peter Parker. Tell me, you've definitely heard this, right? You live hundreds of miles away from me, but you've heard this.
Not only have I heard it, I used to be one of the assholes who said that.
It's like, who said that first, right? Because I thought that he was just great in the role overall.
Yeah.
Half of these people don't know what Peter Parker is supposed to be like in the first place. Like, you know, most of the time these people have seen the Sam Raimi films with Tobey Maguire, and they probably like base it on that. You know, I don't know where they're getting this opinion from. I haven't read a lot of Spider-Man comics, to be honest. Huge superhero fan. And I dabbled in some like X-Men comics when I was growing up, but I'm not like an avid comic book reader, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
how do I know what Peter Parker is supposed to be like? And I know that people saying this stuff have never read a Spider-Man comic book in their life, so it's like, it's so
that's
ridiculous.
That's the only edge I have on those people, is that I actually do have legitimately do have Spider-Man comics in my room. But still, yeah, it's a stupid criticism.
So yeah, I mean, like, just back to Sonic Frontiers. When I first saw it, I was never expected to be blown away by the next big Sonic game, because I don't have that type of personality, and I don't fake that on YouTube either. Maybe I'd have a lot more views if I did, but I don't do that, and I don't rush to give my opinions on something. If there's news and something factual, I will provide that and maybe sprinkle like some opinion in there, but I never want to have a video that is an opinion piece that drives people to think in some critical fashion that's unfair to the thing that I'm criticizing. So basically that was what was going on for like weeks, and I'm sorry, like for the whole week. It felt like weeks.
Yeah.
But for the whole week, and Twitter is just ablaze with this stuff. Like, you go on Twitter, and since I follow Sonic stuff, it gives me more Sonic stuff. And people who say that they're fans are like laughing at the bad animations. They're like, oh my God, this is going to be hilarious, blah, 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 blah. And then people are like, yo, do you really hate this game? And they're like, no, not really. But, you know, so like when they're called out, they calm down immediately. But it's the tweet. That's what they're trying. They're trying to get attention on the tweet. They're trying to get attention on their YouTube channels, their social media and stuff. So they're saying these very, very extraordinary things to get that initial attention. And there's some people are like, oh, well, I'm just giving my opinion based on what I see. I doubt there's going to be that many changes. And I was kind of in the realm where I'm looking at what I see right now and what could be fixed. And there's the possibility that it might not be. You know, there may not be a change to this part's animation, Sonic's animation here in this frame, but it looks a little jank here. But I also do enjoy seeing the collectibles at the end. I wonder what those do. I need more context to know what is the purpose of traversing this open world. If there's no good purpose for me doing that, then it's going to lessen, you know, the rewards of the gameplay, or the rewarding factor of the gameplay for me. These are the things that I was saying on stream as I was watching this. And I was saying, like, I need a little bit more. So we get to today, and everybody's kind of reneged what they were saying now. Oh, now that I'm seeing new footage, I guess IGN must had an earlier build. Oh my gosh, okay, cool. Well, Sega's marketing is still trash. You know, I'm glad that things are working out, because at the end of the day, I'm still a Sonic fan. But it's like, bro, the amount of discourse that you put out in the like, that damage is not something that could be repaired.
You spent like a week shit talking, and the second you see something that slightly contradicts what you're saying, you immediately flip flop.
Right.
It's like you don't have an opinion. You're like clay, then you let other people mold you. That's what your personality and opinions are.
And it comes back to, well, I'm just giving criticism, and I feel like a lot of people couldn't accept that. But now that I've seen more, I think that I'm actually excited for this. Like, come on, you did not ride that criticism wave. You didn't ride that for your own personal gain. And that's why I can't trust, you know, YouTubers as positive and as nice as they seem. Hey, I wouldn't tell people to trust me either. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that I have any ulterior motives or anything like that. Like, I can say that from a personal standpoint. But I wouldn't recommend anybody trust any YouTuber like that, where you have to run to their channel to go find out their opinions on something before you know what you want. Because they're not Sega. They're not the people who played the game. They're not even the media outlets that played the game. These people have zero access to this game. All they did was see the same video that you did, and you should be able to build your own opinions off of that. If you think it looks bad, more power to you. Go out there and express your critiques. But to like, oh, this looks like fucking garbage, and to spread that opinion amongst multiple minds too, because Sonic has a lot of children out there who, you know, they're these fans. And I saw people in my stream who were trying to like edge kids sometimes. Like, oh, I don't know if they thought that they were going to get under my skin by saying it's going to be trash and awful, like this looks like the worst game ever, or they're just saying that. But it just sounds like little parrots in my stream.
Yeah.
Based on like all the other Sonic YouTubers that are out there. And I said, hey, you're free to not like it. I think that it needs some work too. But this gameplay here is definitely not enough for me to have a solid or valid opinion on this. Otherwise, I'm just going to be poisoning the pot. And here we are. We have much better footage out. Does this mean it's going to be Game of the Year? Probably not. But some outlets are already saying that. But hey, I can't fully trust them either, because I feel like, you know, they use hyperbole for these reasons too. But at least they played it. And there's a lot better gameplay footage out there now with somebody actually mastering the mechanics and doing how it's meant to be played. And now it looks a lot better. So at the end of the day, I'm still excited for it. You know, I do have my critiques. But again, I'm not going to go spoil the pot and say this is going to be the worst Sonic game ever. We don't know that. We can't go out there and say these things. And I think a lot of like possible or potential buys were gone with that initial thing, with that initial feedback, you know?
Yeah. which sucks. It really does. Hopefully we can like gain them back over the couple months, but I doubt it.
I mean, that's up to Sega to go out there and go on a huge marketing spree. I think honestly, there's a lot more features that we haven't seen, and I don't know. The whole marketing behind this is really weird. I think that
it is. I'll agree with you on that.
they're like using like, I don't know. It feels like tiny focus groups. But I like normally the Sonic PR team is very outspoken. Right now they're very quiet, and I think Sega's keeping things very close to the chest. But right now what we're seeing is people being told not to record. So there's an embargo. People are signing NDAs. There's a bunch of features that we haven't seen in the footage. So the footage is only covering the open hub. But we've heard extra details about what the collectibles will do. There's going to be smaller linear levels. A lot of it is, of course, akin to Breath of the Wild, which is apparently the original sin at this point. If you copy Breath of the Wild, we have to remind you that you look like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. I mean, we're not even immune to that either. We did call it Breath of the Sonic on our 4th episode.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with using that formula. I think for a character like Sonic, it fits. I think for a character like Mario, it fits. I think it would be a little bit weird if it was like, Grand Theft Auto Breath of the Wild, where, the new protagonist gets transported to like some isekai world and he has to like explore towers. Yeah, I think that would be weird. But like, I don't know. People are like, yeah, Sonic does not fit in this world. And like, guys, like he's been everywhere. He's been in San Francisco grinding off the rails of like the park or the Lombardi Street. Come on.
You could put okay. You could put like Sonic in like fucking you could put Sonic in Halo and I'd be like, oh yeah, that kind of works.
I'm sure there's a mod for that somewhere.
Probably is. Yeah.
Someone get me the Halo Infinite Sonic mod and I'm good.
Yeah. So actually there's this neat little well, not neat, it's actually kind of dumb trend that I've noticed, and I want to know if you've noticed it too. All right. So there is person who is on Twitter and they dole out their like hot takes and they get into this echo chamber of nonsense, garbage opinions, right? That doesn't make any sense, and they're just repeating what all of their mutual followers say, right? That person then goes and makes a YouTube channel reviewing something for like an hour or so, and then they promote it to their mutual followers and stuff, and they all retweet it, and by the end of the day that person has 1,000 views on their video, and they're like, oh my god, how'd this happen? I guess I should open a Patreon now.
I've not seen this happen.
I've seen this happen like at least 5 times, and it's pissed me off every time, because it's like, what are you people doing? Why are you feeding into this?
It's a scam.
It's like multi-level marketing, but for opinions.
It kind of just sucks, Robin. Like if I were a complete asshole, I could have probably been rich a long time ago. And
same.
It's just like I have morals, that's just me, and probably like 70% of the other population. But then you have these sleaze, slime, grime that go on this platform and just kind of fuck it up for everybody. And then, like, I don't know, the opinion pieces too. Like, I'm not saying it's easy to put together a 5-hour YouTube video.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that either. But I think it's like, I don't know, it's frustrating to me, like, when someone like goes out of their way to like make 5 hours of them talking about something and they come out saying nothing at all. Right. Yeah.
There's some that are good. I'm not knocking all of those like long form pieces.
Yeah, no, not all of them are terrible. Like I've seen like some good ones myself. I can't remember any off the top of my head, but I've also seen ones where I'm like, fuck that, I'm not watching that, such as the 12-hour long review of Death Stranding that White Light put out or something. It's like, that's 12 hours. I'm not spending all day watching your opinions. I'm sorry. Fuck that.
The funny thing about it is like 5 hours of nothing but that is like a YouTube gold mine. If you can get that to hit 1 million views, you've probably made like quite a few grand off of that one video.
Unless it gets copyright claimed, but
yeah, unless they do that. But
yeah,
5 hours of content, that's like, and you have somebody watch all the way through, you're making a nice little pretty penny off of that. So honestly, yeah. I think that, not saying this is all people, because I'm sure there's people with long form content that works, but I think the goal for that is to adhere to the algorithm, number one, because YouTube loves to promote long form content, but also you get a ton of money if that thing like takes off, and then you never really have to make another 5-hour video again. That will like feed you for probably a couple of years, like if you manage to take it off like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's dumb. I just wish. I don't know. I have like had this idea for like an opinion, like piece post on my nude rounds. Ironically enough, titled "YouTubers have ruined modern discourse." Clickbaity headline and stuff. But it's just me expressing my opinions on the matter. I kind of like put off making it because I'm like, this probably won't go over well. But after talking to you and some other people, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should just put it out. Fuck it. Yeah,
you may as well. Because I did mention like the day of when Sonic Frontier stuff dropped. I mentioned this somewhere. I'm not gonna say which social media platform, but I did say like, in a snarky way, like, oh, okay, well, here we go. The Sonic fan base is divided, and YouTubers are shoving their opinions down people's throats and stuff. And someone disagreed with me, which, I'm not calling them out to say that they're wrong or anything like that. It's just the disagreement was that it was a bad take, and YouTubers aren't shoving their opinions down people's throats. Discourse is a healthy thing amongst the Sonic fandom because criticism is good, and discourse is also good because you have opinions and things to make that thing better. And I don't totally disagree with that, right? But aside from me just saying, like, as an aside, it wasn't something that I, like, truly believed. I mean, I actually believe that YouTubers are shoving their opinions down people's throats. But I didn't mean it in a way where, like, I was saying that everybody's doing that. But in the days after that, we just saw more and more in that. And any recommended video to me was Sonic Frontiers looks like this. Sonic Frontiers looks like that. And it's that YouTuber's confused face or disappointed face on top of a screenshot from the actual gameplay and things like that. And it's their channel. They're allowed to do these opinion pieces and say how they feel. But you have to wonder where the line is drawn between making this content quickly and going with what's trending, which I know there has to be a gray area with that on YouTube. Like, people need to run and say, you have to be the extra guy. That's basically it. Extra, read all about it. You're either that or you're putting out something as a retrospective or like constant content. YouTube is very tricky in that way. So the fact that these YouTubers are doing that, I had to ask, like, do you really believe these things that you're saying? And I don't know. That's why I felt so like annoyed over the situation, because me as a longtime fan, I didn't think that footage was perfect. And honestly, Sonic Team's not the most talented set of devs out there. So my expectations were kind of like mid, But I'm impressed with the ideas that they're dabbling in. And I would never outrageously say, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like in Eggman's voice. I can't believe this. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way about people and like my community, because I'm more invested in it now than I used to be, because I'm part of this community now. And I'm trying to be the change that I want. I could easily just put my face on all these thumbnails and have this shocked expression, or like a smile like, hey, this is going to be great. Oh no, this is awful. Oh my God, I'm reacting to this thing. I'm going to comment on every Sonic related video and be positive about it, but then go to Twitter and be negative about it. Like, I could be that guy, but I don't want to be that guy, and that's not my personality either. I like to absorb the things that I see and craft my opinion based around that. And I also still want to be relatively neutral before the game actually comes out. I can find out whether I want to buy it or not, and I think that's the job of the marketing teams of games. You can interest me to have me buy it. Like, this actually looks cool. These features look cool. I'm gonna drop my $60 on this. That's their role. But I can't like sit there and bash a game because everybody else is doing it. You have to like actually purchase that game, and you have to decide to go buy that and play it. You have to go see that movie. You have to read that book. You're gonna have to do that work. And I know there's so much discourse out there now that people can just take other opinions, rephrase them, and make a video on it without even consuming any of the media that they're talking about. And I just needed to call people out on that because I see it. I know it's happening. It's probably very easy to trick people to think that it's not happening, but it is. And these people are being dramatic to be dramatic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like the more someone says that doesn't happen, the more I'm just confirms to me that it does, because I guess it's also like the older I get, the more I notice it happen too. I don't know. Maybe when people grow up, they'll stop doing it, but that's kind of wishful thinking.
Yeah. And, you know, some of these guys are young too. So,
yeah,
you know, maybe they haven't fully matured into, you know, like I'm a little bit older than the average Sonic YouTuber, I think. I'm sure there's like a lot of 50-year-old ones out there too. So shout out to those old men that are still covering this. But, you know, hey, I think people can always be better at the end of the day. Just like my message is just be true to yourself, especially for like a lighthearted topic like Sonic. You know what I'm saying? It's really not. I'm not upset or annoyed over it because of the content itself. It's how people are treating the situation because of that content. Like, this is not something that's life or death. So it doesn't really require reactions like that. And people are not going to get the proper feedback when you're poisoning the pot. So let's say that Sonic team was like, well, what did we do wrong? What can we change? What kind of feedback? And you have people flooding their emails and surveys with, this looks like shit. This looks like trash. They're not even going to know where to start, you know? And that's the worst part about it. Like, the people that could fix it are probably completely confused by the fan base right now. And I think that YouTubers contributed a lot to that discourse, and that needs to be addressed. And not just for Sonic Frontiers, but across the board, you know? Just as you said, Robin, I think that's a great topic, honestly.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, that was heavy. That was heavy.
Yeah. That was really heavy. You know, it just kind of occurred to me that we probably should end this off by talking about, like, kind of a serious situation that's been going on and show some support to a fellow YouTuber who is going through a rough time. Have you heard of the Atman situation, Mentok?
Actman, yes, I have.
Yes.
That was another thing that, shout out to the Actman. Just so everyone's aware, do you want to sum it up for them?
Yeah, so basically, there is this guy called Quantum TV who made a video reviewing Elden Ring, and he said some like really weird takes and stuff, and Atman made a video reacting to a lot of people's weird takes on Elden Ring, and he featured Quantum TV in that video. Quantum TV decided to strike down Atman's video, and so in response, Atman made an hour-long video talking about all that Quantum TV has done, such as like the fact that he is literally ban evading, the fact that he like threatens other people, like all of this like various like alleged homophobic stuff that he has been pushing on his now deleted social media accounts. He's just overall like a very toxic person that really shouldn't be on YouTube's platform, and YouTube decided to take down that video, give it a community guideline strike because of nudity, when all he did was have like this joke edit of like a cucumber going in and out of Quantum TV's mouth. Mm-hmm. And because he's been trying to fight that, YouTube removed him from the monetization program, so now he makes no money off YouTube at all. And yeah, it's just a really shitty situation, and it's like, why aren't they doing anything?
So this honestly just snowballed from a very tinier situation with the whole Elden Ring thing, and I think that hot take. I think that like a lot of the larger YouTubers kind of made this a bigger deal for themselves by going after Quantum TV, and I think that Quantum TV is not a good person at all. But
no,
the fact that he had a channel that was really small could have gotten through this unscathed and not giving the attention, and I think that since YouTube has decided to keep him around, I mean, I don't know how it's going to end, if he's going to get blocked or whatever, if justice is going to prevail and Actman's going to have his stuff reinstated. But the amount of coverage that I see Quantum TV getting, I'm sure it's going to grow his audience. And they gave him a platform.
And
they made a mistake in doing that, in my opinion.
You know what the worst part about this is, that like Quantum TV has like doxed Actman multiple times. Like, he called Actman's mother. I don't know if you know this.
Yes.
Yeah, he called Actman's mother. He like released Actman's phone number out there, and people have been like messaging him, like texting him and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. Quantum TV is just one of those people that I because like he's been deleted off YouTube before, so he's ban evading. So he should be deleted now, because ban evading is against YouTube's terms of service.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, YouTube is just being stubborn about this for some reason, and I find it fucking hilarious that they're like going all in on Pride Month stuff, and yet they're defending this guy who is, I have to say allegedly now because he took down all of his Twitter posts, but like is allegedly a massive homophobe.
I think this is just something petty on YouTube's side as well.
Yeah, it does. It's like something that Twitch would do, you know, like when they did the another castle thing or something for Ninja when he left the platform.
Yeah, like how
and they never did that again.
How unprofessional and petty was that? Like, honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
So, yeah, and of course he's right back on the platform, so like clearly it was all jealousy and like whatever. All that aside, you know, I get it to cover it. It's an interesting topic. It's outrage. It's easy clicks. I just think someone like Quantum TV could have just, for lack of a better word, that channel could have just died a quiet, pathetic death. But now he's around, and I think there's way too much outrage. So unless YouTube decides to ban him, he's gonna gain a following with people of his, like, with similar beliefs and things like that. And like, I think that this situation is gonna help him in the long run.
And it's so weird that like during Pride Month of all months, when they're like promoting like this stuff to like highlight like gay creators and all that stuff, and they're like, they chose this month to stand by a raging homophobe who accused some TV review guy of promoting Satanism to his audience because he did a screen test with the opening of the show Lucifer.
I think that YouTube is like the FBI of Google, though. Like, you just don't know what their practices are like and who's making these decisions in the first place. It's always some masked person in the background that does these things, and I don't know.
Are they gonna do the right thing, or are they gonna plot to kill Martin Luther King?
Right, exactly. See our previous discussion on this, where we thought we put out a very nice, well thought theory about the truth of MLK's assassination, but that's neither here nor there. We don't believe it, FBI. Just so if you're listening, we don't believe it, but we think it's an interesting theory. I'm saying that for the record. I'm gonna go missing next week. Anyway, I think this is like one of the YouTube dramas that I haven't been following. Like, I used to be just so invested in YouTube drama, and I think that YouTubers are salivating over this because it's like the first fresh piece of drama they've had since like James Charles and that other chick, that went into that situation. I forget what it was. That was around the time that I started doing content again. So it's been almost like 3 years, or a little over 3 years, since like the last like really hot YouTube drama. So I think that people are like, oh, I'm backing the Axeman, justice for Axeman, but at the same time, they're loving the content, man. They're loving it. I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
There's a Quantum TV. I've seen his profile picture. I've never seen his channel before, but I've seen his profile picture way too many times to count. I know exactly what it looks like.
I've seen his face splattered on a bunch of thumbnails too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's eating that up. He's leaving comments in their comment section and things like that. So, hey, it's good to speak out about it. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying like this is good content for those people too.
I'm going to let's do a little test. I'm going to intentionally not put his name in the thumbnail or the tags or the description or anything.
Okay.
In this video. And we'll see if he pops up in the comments section to talk shit on us anyways. Or if he strikes down the video.
Oh, yeah. If he does that, whatever, man. We'll just make a new one. We'll start fresh.
I have all the videos still, so I can just re-upload them all.
But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. I don't have too many opinions regarding it. I think that YouTube needs to kind of do some investigations. And honestly, I did leave a tweet in response to Axeman, by the way, like, in publicly, I don't think he did anything wrong. Like those tweets, yeah, they're a little sus. Like he did tweet something out saying, hey, like it's sarcastically like, oh, I guess it's okay to dox people. So I'll be putting out a new series doxing YouTube employees and blah, blah, blah. I think he was upset and did something in the moment, then deleted it, and YouTube didn't like that, and they're being petty about it. Difference is he went after YouTube with that comment. It's not YouTuber versus YouTuber, it's YouTuber versus YouTube at that point. So I think Quantum TV is just kind of like irrelevant at that point. Like you just switch the target to YouTube, and that's where they drew the line on it. So not saying they made the right decision. I think it's a little excessive to remove him from the partner program. I'm pretty sure they're going to negotiate that out, and whether Axeman needs to take a break or whatever, leave that up to him. But I think I left this tweet on there saying like, this doesn't seem fair based on what we know publicly. I'm wondering what caused this or whatever, but either way, best of luck, Axeman. I said something like that. And then YouTube did respond to his initial tweet saying why they did it. And it's unprofessional, right? It's an unprofessional thing to say. And, YouTube has the right to terminate you based off of opinions like that. But I do think it is hypocritical that they left Quantum TV up and went after him. But again, he went after YouTube and not another YouTuber. And I think that's why it escalated the way it did. And somebody at YouTube probably just wasn't having it and probably had a bad day and just exercised that power, much like Twitch does. So, my opinions just basically like I hope they rectify this. And hopefully Axeman is telling the truth and there's not something like further, even more petty behind the scenes that he did that pissed them off even further, whatever. I don't think we know like everything that went down, and that's kind of why like I'm sitting on the fence with this one. Definitely don't agree with Quantum TV though.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty heavy episode overall. We'll try and make the next episode more fun, I promise.
Yeah, there's a lot of like cool little game trailers out there right now. Honestly, I have nothing that has me super excited for the remainder of the year, but I'm sure there's a Nintendo Direct coming up, and maybe we'll cover that. Everyone's speculating on Twitter as they always do. Well, if it's not this week, it's going to be next week. If it's not next week, it's going to be next month. And if it's not next month, then we'll get something before the end of the year. But yeah. Gaming wise, like there's like a couple of things that, maybe Sonic Frontiers, if they show like a nice little official trailer with all the features and all that. But we'll talk all about that some other time.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it, right?
I think that's it. This might be our heaviest episode yet.
Yes.
This time it's personal. All right, I'm done.
Say the line.
Oh,
say the line.
Yeah, you're right. Do you want to take us out to the backyard to grill?
Sure. That's gonna be it for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. What episode is it?
27?
Is it 27? I think it's 28. Or is that our subscriber count?
Shit.
Hang on, I'm checking. Don't worry. 27, you were right.
Okay.
This has been episode 27 of Whatever, Whenever. Thank you all for listening and watching. As always, I'm Robin.
I'm the Mentok. Ricky, before we go, just sprinkle like a JPEG of salt throughout this podcast.
Yeah.
Whenever you feel like it, but just you're hearing this at the end. You're probably like, oh, thank God I'm done with this podcast, and now I'm giving you work to do. But yeah, do that. And I'm the Mentok.
Yes, and we will see you all later.
Peace.